And now it's my pleasure to introduce you, Jackie. So yeah, Jackie is a PhD in a cross-disciplinary field, VR, AR, and learning and effective computing, which is really close to what I did, actually. I also did this cross-disciplinary stuff. So yeah, and you come from effective computing, and you have worked on Intel's RealSense 3D cameras and the Alloy project. And so yeah, you're also the recipient of the Virtual World Society's Next and Rising Star Prize in 2020. That's really cool. And so now also you're part of the Oculus Launchpad 2020 program, and he's also a two-time recipient of the Epic Games Mega Grants. Okay, so I have high expectations. I'm really excited about what you're talking about. Laura's yours. You can share your screen if you want to.
Thanks for having me. Let me share my screen. You guys can see it okay? Good? Okay. Yeah, so the title, I think the title means a few words. So this is about exploring boundless possibilities of immersive education with my son. Okay. I graduated from MIT Media Lab. This is my son. I promise he's going to grow up fast. And so I started as an architect, and I did research about how architecture professors, they don't like computers. Then I built a series of prototypes. I got into MIT Media Lab, and I was really inspired by the culture of building. And I study first. This is my master's thesis. I actually built an AI and AR system to understand how intelligent environment can help people to cook better. So that was my master's thesis. I started AR, well, a while back. And like you said, I studied emotion. I studied how we can design technologies and that will help to understand human emotions. So I built a few projects at the Media Lab. And that's when I really was intrigued about VR, XR. Those technologies really made me think about, can we have technology to construct a different reality that will influence our perception and emotion and give us a way to perceive as being somewhere else or being inside a story. And that was constructed. So VR to me, it's a really very interesting media and technology. I've been research and read about it and build things around VR, AR for a few years. VR is also a very fun group activities. It was, I think it's still be, once we can get back to the way that we can share the VR experience with others in a like small group, a bigger group. Yeah, we want to see those VR days again. That's my son, and he's been playing with. I think one of my favorite was the how you can build things in VR and to test with this imaginary physics and gravity. And my son told me, if we can learn and have fun together, that makes learning easier. That inspired me to found the company Science VR. And I've been thinking about how can we build up this virtual world that will make learning easier and also have fun. So I started to think about how can we access the source of knowledge, like stories where scientists they got inspired, and can we go back to those stories? So here's an example, and can we go back to Michael Faraday, his laboratory, when he was inventing principles where he observed those experiments of electromagnetism. So this is why I imagine in the future, maybe Wikipedias can become something like this, and each stories represent it's a small world where you can experience and with your hands, and even talk to those virtual avatars, because I think AI is not far away to make them come back to life, and you can interact with their experiments. And in this case, we can actually access this knowledge where they inspire scientists to shape our modern world. So I've been building a few stories in this virtual world, including Michael Faraday, James Clerk Maxwell, and his Maxwell equation, like it's really the foundation of the modern technology. And on the right-hand side, you see Charles Babbage talking to Ada Lovelace. They are creating computers when computer was assembled by those gears without electricity. And also, what if we can go back to Pierre Curie and Marie Curie to see how they discover new elements? So what if we can bring our young learners, even us, to go back to the history and witness how scientists and creators and they create things and they discover things. Not only in the virtual world, I also brought my son to travel and go back to those museums and Faraday's laboratory in London, and bring the experiments that I've been building, and to receive feedback from Faraday Museum and Maxwell Foundation. And I brought the simulated lab to science fair and exhibitions and museums. One of the comments I like the most is people ask, is it magic or science? I think that really drives me to keep building more. So here you see a virtual tutor talking about electromagnetism with his hands, and the students, they can join and to see those virtual math in 3D forms and interact with them. It's really like a game if you put things in VR. So this is one of my favorite, and also many people's favorite, about playing with the frog. It's just amazing to have this alternative way of interacting some of the knowledge. And we've been keep building. Over the weekend, I brought my families to hackathons. So you can see the kid is growing up, and they've been using the tools that I've been building using Unreal Engine. So that's when he started to pick up how to build things and with his own hands. We really spent a few weekends around hackathons, and you can see this is another hackathon we went to. At that time, we really think about ideas that we can really build, and not only me, but I can see he's growing, and also receive feedback from others, and have idea first, then see if we can build it and allow others to jump into this virtual world to interact and iterate. It was really fun. And then, well, the pandemic hits us, hits everyone. And at that time, we got some climate issues, and as well as the virus. And so I pivoted a lot, and during that time, and try also a few more things, like the interactive virus. You can use your hands, so that it will teach you some basic knowledge about the virus, how they attach to surfaces. And I think there are also apps that you can download from. I think it's from SideQuest. You can still download this app. So during the pandemic, we all saw the rise of the metaverse, the greatest rebranding of XR. Thanks to Meta, they saved the XR industry for a short while. But during that time, I also collaborate with other creators and storytellers for building non-VR experiences. It's more like inside a world that you can use your browser to access. I think if we have some time, we can also jump into a few experiences and to just give you a feel how it's like to be inside those stories. And so these are not VR, and the clips you see before, they are VR clips, but not right now. Those images are screen capture from the web. And the good thing about the web is that I send you a link, then you can jump in and you will meet each other in this virtual, in this example, it's Alice Wonderland, it's a garden. And so we had a series of VR book chats. So that's where I invited my friend. They talk about ideas and related to the environment, related to the subject. And so this one, I got Caitlin, got Eric, and some of the friends to jump into this virtual garden. And in the virtual garden, not only we talk about Alice in Wonderland, but there's some interactive elements like games you can actually play to interact with Lewis Carroll's logic. So it's a fun one. Maybe we can jump into this one when we have some time. And so here's another great talk by Eric and about hyper reality and postmodernism. We're in this like cyberpunk like environment to talk about ideas. It was really fun, and I believe we still have some clips on YouTube. So these are all different rooms you can access from your browser. So click a link, then here's another example that we collaborate with Smithsonian museums. And so the idea is that how can we bring the 4 million digital artifacts from Smithsonian, and well, so that people, before they visit the actual museum, you can get familiar with the digital artifact first. So that was the idea. And so we collaborate with Smithsonian Museum. We use their data API. They have this open access, and all the assets, they are CC0 that we can use. I think it's a great repository for any creators who are thinking about bringing more assets into their virtual world. And this collaboration also with Caitlin Yanling and also my son, and he's the one that building all the avatars. So I pay him virtual currencies so that he can make those avatars for me. So that's when he start to jumping in to help out building the virtual worlds that I've been building. So this is also a very fun one through my friends. They are musicians, storytellers, and performers. So they brought us this virtual theater, and where they play Nikola Tesla and Nikola Tesla's mother, and that was a fun one. And if you can see, Amani was there. And this series is a very special. I think that was in like right before Halloween. So we have this a month and a half, almost 2 months, a series of experiences where I had Dr. Sam Hurst. She's a professor in Gothic literature. So every week we'll have a short section about Mary Shelley and Frankenstein, and inside this virtual Gothic mansion. And maybe we should jump in right? Maybe we should jump in, right? Let me, I hope the audience can join us as well. And let me just give you a quick tool. So if you go to, I think you can go to, I don't know how the audience can access, but I'll jump in.
And maybe you can just share a link in the chat.
Okay. Link in the chat. Let's see. Okay. So if the audience want to jump in, and we'll be able to see you guys there. Okay. Wow. We do have audiences. That's great. I'll give you a quick tour, and then we'll come back to the presentation. So I'm also sharing the screen. So if you cannot jump in, you should be able to see it. So this is a gas dimension that you can still see. I'm sharing screen, right? Should be. Yeah. So this is a gas dimension where we will have talks, and the mansion itself also, it is it's some kind of maze, and there are also items you can collect, and that will give you some other surprises. So for example, there are books. This is Paradise Lost. And let's see. There's a few paintings, and let's see, where are people? Okay, we got some folks here. And if you click on some objects, there are some surprises, but don't click now. Click that once. Well, you can bring your class here if you or friends, and to have a little competition for the scores, and at the same time learn about Mary Shelley and Lord Byron and Percy Shelley and their stories. There are also some books you can leave your messages, and if you feel like to answer some of the question here, feel free. Okay, so I think this is good. Let me jump back to the presentation. So we had a series of events here, and there's also a way that I can share screen in this class dimension. So okay, we can close the window and come back to the presentation. We'll have another demo at the end. All right. So that was a fun experiment for around 2 weeks. So every week we have 30 minutes, 45 minutes of this virtual experiences, and there's also a theater, metaverse theater around at the end, and with the theme of Mary Shelley and Frankenstein. It was really fun, and I hope that I can do it again this year with the latest technology that we are building. All right, so metaverse. People say it's an illusion, and people said that it's a game, it's something, it's not real. But we also have scholars like Eric. He said metaverse can be a hyper reality. It's a reality beyond this. It's a reality that you construct in your mind, but that's something I would like to see more, because we can really live inside this digital world, and all digitally. And if we can work in this world, then we'll really have a digital life. But there are a few things that need to be solved. And how do we make money in the digital life, in the digital world, and to create things that can stay in the digital world? So those are challenges and still unsolved. But those are fun challenges we're working on. So there are a few more experiences. This is with Caitlin again. She's so it's a lovely collaborator. We have the Moon Garden, and we had poetry reading, meditations, and relaxations. It was great. It was really fun experiences. And this one is my son's project, and so he had the idea about having battles with friends in the desert. So he built avatars, I built some infrastructures, and we invite friends to play with us by just sending them a link. Like, or you guys just try jumping in with a link. Okay, so what is metaverse and why we are keep building it? For me, I think the metaverse is a place where any user, regardless their background, or they can be just anonymous, and they can appear as an avatar. And a metaverse should allow anyone to learn things, create things, play, and also earn with things they love. So that's a metaverse I'm thinking I'm trying to build. So here's Mozart, and so I hope Mozart, he doesn't need to worry about business model, and he can just create things, build things in the metaverse. That's my hope. So to build this digital world, and with my son, we also try a few new things. We jump into the Web3 crypto world, and at that time we are NFT collectors, and with NFTs we apply fundings from the DAO, those organizations with NFTs communities, and that's when me and my son, we start to build more together. And so this is where we showcase our game prototypes, and we submit our proposals to those DAOs, and those holders, they vote on our proposal, and we have to convince them, vote for us, and for several rounds. And not only me, my son, he has to get votes. He has to show we're capable of building something and get their votes. So it's a very fun experience, and we didn't win every time. I mean, we almost lost every time, but there was one round, and we were beaten by like one vote. So that was crazy. But also we did win a few proposals at the end. This is I think this is the largest hackathon I've been to. It's the Ethereum Global Hackathon last year in San Francisco, and we assembled a team, me, my son, and my son's friend. So they were like 13 years old at the time, and they teamed up, and we were building a game that it's like a Ready Player One, where we go to a dungeon, we shoot some enemies, monsters, and they become coins that we can collect. We can have those experience where players actually earn something when they are playing through the game. So I collaborate with two teams. So I'm doing those Web3 integration, and my son and his friend, they were working on. So my son's friend Tibet, he was working on 3D environments, and so my son is working on the game itself. So it was a very interesting weekend. It was really rewarding, and it was quite unbelievable they can pull this off. And we were presenting, and we were showcasing over that weekend, and also won rewards. And we actually got a few top 1 prizes, and through this collaboration. And so this is when I realized we can really learn, create, play, and earn things that we love. And so that was amazing. And So now it's not only me and my son, like to be like father and son, but we are teammates. So this is our new team deck for this project that we are building called Another World. This is from actually from that hackathon, the project, and because we like it so much, and then it becomes a project that we all like work on every day. And so Another World is it's a metaverse, but different from the previous version. You can see that every room, like I can send you a link and we jump into a world. But this one is different. This one, we're thinking maybe it's just one world. And so it will solve the problem of the world that they are disconnected with each other. And we also want to provide ways that you can use different things in this world. And also have an underlying economy of this world. So we call it Another World. This is a current project. We will get to try it. I think we should have time to try it a little bit. So this will start with the NFT communities that we've been interacting with. So there are community zones, and also there's a game zone in the middle to extend our hackathon ideas, where you can bring your friends to jump into a challenge and to shoot some enemies, to collect some coins, and as well as because it is an open world and many things can be integrated in the near future. So okay, a few fun things like the NFTs people are collecting, they become game abilities. So if you have a very special NFT with laser eyes, then you can use that as your game abilities in this in Another World. There are things that we design based on our experiences when we attend those crypto events, because the crypto event, some events they are exclusive, they are token gated. So we bring those ideas into Another World where some gates, they only unlock when you hold those tokens. But you only need a friend who hold the token. They can unlock the gate for the rest of your group. So it's a fun social interaction we build into this project. And okay, I think this is around the end of the presentation. In the coming months, we'll be doing treasure hunts in this metaverse that we're building, and we hope all of you can join and to solve those puzzles, because those puzzles, as you can imagine, it's all related to science and history. And but those puzzles will also give you special souvenirs in this Another World. And I think we can jump into Another World to give you guys a feeling what kind of world it is. And so if we can go to Another World.gg, I'll also share my screen.
Jackie, can I just ask you a question just before we jump?
Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to say, your son is so lucky to have you as a dad. I just think I'm just touched listening to you and the beautiful relationships that you've created and all the learning that you have given him. It really touches my heart. I think it's so beautiful, and all that he's learned. And he's like a zillion times, I think about, he is a zillion times ahead of, myself. I'm 55. I think, oh my God, anyways, it's mind blowing. So I just want to acknowledge you for that. And it was cool to see your work again with Caitlin, because I'm pretty sure I sat in your presentation last year at iLRN, and I remember seeing those images, and anyway, so that was very cool. I just want to ask you about the Because that's something I don't know about. And can you just, it's a certain file? Is that the ETH?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah, can
Those
you just-
are those are the Web3 crypto items, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and they represent that things that you can own digitally.
no,
and-
no, the ETH, like, so it's Jackie.ETH?
ETH. Okay, that's also a way that show that I own my name. That's a Jackie.ETH. It's called the Ethereum name service. So for people who have their names, and that's the alias of their wallet, that's also an NFT. It's an item that you can own digitally, and by owning it, that means you're part of this distributed ledger. You're one of the entry that people can verify, and so it's a cool idea of digital ownership.
Okay, thank you so much. And I agree with you about, how do we make money in the digital world and keep them, So I guess this is one way, is kind of what you're saying. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So if we got other questions, we can discuss now before we jump in, or if the audience is ready, you can go to the site and click on the web-based preview, and then I'll give you a quick tour, and maybe we'll have some more time to have discussions too. Okay. So let me put the link in the chat again. So you go to the site, and then you can choose the web-based preview. I'm going to share my screen again so that people can see what's going on. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen again. So when you are in here, and if you go to the website and choose the web-based preview, and then it's going to ask you which NFT collection you like the most, and let's do the first one so that we can start in the same area. Okay, we got a few friends here. Nice. So to Kelly, to answer your question, you can see my name currently Jackie.ETH. That represents that I own this digital wallet, and then I use that I use this Jackie.ETH as my alias to represent that wallet. So it's a fancy way to own a name that people can verify using blockchain. Wow, amazing. We got a few folks here. So just a quick tool. You can use WASD to walk, and use spacebar to jump. And I want to apologize. It doesn't work on mobile, but you can still like scroll around and to see things, but you cannot walk. I'm still working on the mobile. And cool. See you guys here.
What is the bar in the top left corner?
Top right corner.
On the
Oh
top
yeah.
left.
Those are the health. So there's a PvP zone. That's a game zone I can take you guys into. But over there, you might get shot. So it's a game. If there's a zone where there are more valuable treasure and equipment. If you keep going into the fog area, that's a PvP zone. Okay, and you can get shot there. So it's a little bit competition there. But it's a fun one. We're going to have tournaments inside this area. Okay, I see a person there. Maybe I'll show how this works here. So this is our challenge zone. It's a PvP zone, so it's dangerous. And well, this is designed by my son, not by me. I'm very like academic. He likes to play games, so you know those teenager boys. Okay, this guy. Okay, yeah, I can. So when people get shot, they will be treasure from their body. So you can get their treasure, and some of them they can be owned digitally. So, but there are other things you can collect over. Okay, you want to get shot? All right. Anyway, there are things you can collect in this area, and that's a treasure hunt. And we are designing puzzles where you have to solve some of the knowledge. For example, Maxwell equation, you have to get the pieces, right? then you'll get some items that will that will give you some rewards. So to some degree, in this place, you can play and learn and also earn at the same time. And we got grants from Optimism. They're a blockchain company. They provide grants to builders, and we'll be distributing the grants that we got to players. They solve our puzzles during the summer. Okay.
So what happens if you shoot me?
Well, it depends on how many times you get shot, I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Not
Yeah,
that.
no, sorry. Yeah.
Now you can respawn. I see.
You can respawn. Yeah. So you won't be like you can keep responding. So I can also respond so that I can go to another area. And okay, I'm back here. So over here, you can see there's some Twitter followers counts on my head. So you can imagine this is kind of like a Twitter, but in 3D world, and we can have activities over here. All right, I think I'll pause here and to answer questions. If you have questions, we can discuss more.
No. Okay, I have questions. Okay, I was back to when you said spacebar was jump, and how do you walk?
Oh, WASD.
WASD?
Yeah.
WASD?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And just one more question back to the ETF. So do you have to pay for that? Like, is there a charge for that? Like, so you have to, it's an NFT in order to buy the ETF? Yes.
Yeah, it's a small amount. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And then, sorry, what was, so the grants for builders, is that US or is that like, where's that again? I missed that part, Jackie.
Oh yeah, so we did apply to a few grants. And
oh, so that's just in general, like, is that an international grants or is it American grants or Canadian or?
I think those are international.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, this is just unbelievable. I just am so taken, and I just thank you so much for sharing. I'm blown away. I think like I was last year. I saw your presentation. So thank you so very much for sharing.
Well, it's been a year. I'm so glad you guys invite me back, and I can show you guys this new upgrades that we've been working on.
Yeah, this is amazing. Thank you so much for the presentation. It's really unbelievable. And I love how you included all these crypto objectives into the environment, into the world. Actually, this is really the first world I've actually seen that does this. So what are your long-term goals? Or well, if anyone has questions, please put them in the chat. But one question from me, like, what are your long-term goals with this alternate? What's it called? Not alternate universe. What?
It's called Another World.
Another world. Yeah.
Yeah. So the long-term goal, I mean, this is still an experiment, and but it's a experiment. It's get us to work on it very hard. So hopefully we'll get more builders to join us to combine the world into another world.
What did you actually use to build these different worlds? Not just another world, but also the others. Was this Unity or?
It's Unreal Engine.
Unreal Engine. Okay.
Yeah, Unreal Engine.
And
Yeah.
so just out of curiosity, because I'm a computer science teacher, what programming language did you use? So did you use like the built-in Unreal Engine?
There are a couple of ways to build Unreal Engine. You can do it with C++. That'll be the code intensive way. But my son, he picked up those blueprints. It's a more like graphical. It's like a Scratch, but
yeah.
with lines.
That was why I was interested in, because I'm also teaching pre-service teachers, just as Christiane just said. I'm also teaching pre-service teachers, but they don't have any experience with computer science, so they don't know any program language. And I always use CoSpaces. I don't know if you know CoSpaces. And I love the block-based languages, and maybe this can translate to Unreal Engine.
I mean, it's a way that by using a game engine or the code space and all the graphical programming interface. And the good thing about that is that you can see something immediately, and you can try and error and then pick up things that you need along the way. So I think that's a very powerful to use game engine early, and because it's very rewarding, at least for what I've been interacting with those folks learning Unreal Engine. And it's really rewarding when they see their ideas can be presented in that way.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see how your ideas come to life by just using these little blocks. There are a couple of questions in the chat. So first one was from Helen. What are your plans with all these immersive educational games?
Oh, okay. The VR games, they are on Oculus store, so you can download them. But those are VR, require you to have a headset to access. And the web-based environment that we just tried, Mary Shirley's space, well, those are not maintained. If you go to the site, it still says 2022 because I'm not maintaining them. But those are great experiences. It's just that I don't have bandwidth to maintain those. Well, if you have ideas to use them, and we can talk more. We can leave it open maybe, because it's a cool experience, and it allows you to have presentations because it's based on Mozilla Hubs, and so I modify Mozilla Hubs to make it into the way it is. And the web-based experience, they are easy to access because it doesn't require a headset. So the entry barrier is really very accessible.
Just a question on that. Sorry, I will keep asking all the other questions afterwards.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If I visit the web page with my headset on, will this translate to an immersive experience? You know what I mean? So
only for the Oculus apps. There are three Oculus apps on Oculus Store. The Faraday's magnets. Those are the 3D electromagnetism simulation. and Carol's riddles. It's more like logic game for those are really hard, but
Yes.
still kids can solve them. So if you download those Carol's riddles, it's a single player game. In my statistics, only like, well, it's not only, but it's like 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 kids they can get it.
Yeah,
But at least there's 2. But those kids, when they got it, they got it, and to solve Lewis Carroll's logic game, and those kids who solved those, they were so proud. Like,
yeah, I can imagine. So
and the third one is Sherry's creation. It's like Mary Sherry, but in a VR context.
all right, cool. Then again, thanks a lot.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
me.